class reunion, but only if you have a craving for terror. For nothing is more terrifying than a party given by the Redeemer. 6 people singled out and chosen for a very special reason. No matter where you turn, he is there. No matter how far you run, he will track you down. No matter how you scream, he will continue to gather the souls of those who have sinned. With the hand that bears the mark of the son of Satan, the one called the Redeemer. First, the Omen. Now, the Redeemer.
Hey people, what's up? It's me again, Junkmaster3, and today I am going to talk about a horror movie. This is actually going to be a review, and I've not made a review video for maybe 1 year or something, or maybe even more than a year. I'm not too sure about how long time it's been, but yeah, it's been a long time since I did a horror review, and I decided to take a look at this movie. The Redeemer. Now, to be honest, I have not seen this movie until a couple of weeks ago, and it's very special. I actually tried to get the information about the director, but I couldn't find anything about the director. I don't think he has done anything else than this. But yeah, I really love this tagline right here. If you have a craving for terror, come to the class reunion. And yeah, just by that tagline or whatever, this is basically a reunion type of movie where a couple of people gather around this. I think it's some sort of old abandoned high school that they went to, and they're supposed to have a party there, and we have all the typical type of characters right there. And yeah, of course, a killer is on the loose and wants to kill them. And now we come to one thing that I did not really like about the movie. I think the movie is very complicated in that way that I didn't really get who the killer was or anything, what the other people had done towards him that made him so crazy. And yeah, I don't really understand. I don't think I'd really understood the whole concept. I'm sure there's basically some other explanation of who the killer was. I mean, you do figure out who the killer is, but you don't really understand the connection between the killer and the victims. So yeah, I thought that was a little bit muddled, and I think some of the kills are not. I mean, the kills aren't really particularly great. But the movie is very weird and has a very special atmosphere to it, and the atmosphere is something I really enjoyed about this movie. And there's a small sequence where the killer shows up in this skull mask and with the hood and everything. That's probably one of my favorite sequences in the whole movie. I just think it's too bad that costume or whatever didn't have a bigger role in the movie. There's one kill which I really, really enjoyed. I'm not going to spoil it for you, those of you who haven't seen it, but it takes place in I'm not really sure if it's not a theater, but it looks like a theater within this school. For those of you who have seen this, probably already know what I'm talking about, but yeah. So it's a very atmospheric and weird type of movie, and this came out in 1978, so this was... maybe 1 year, or now I'm just not sure about when Halloween came out, but this is a Code Red release. From what I've heard, this is really hard to come across. I'm not too sure how well you can see that if you want to read something a little bit about the movie itself. And here we have some stills on the background. Yeah, and the killer wears this clown mask as well at some parts, and that's another thing which is really weird. They had the killer to have... They made a killer have different type of costumes and different appearances, so at times I did not really understand if it was multiple killers or not or anything, but yeah, I don't want to go into that many more details about the movie itself, but Yeah, I mean overall it's not the best and not the worst either, but if you're one of those people who really are looking for movies with a different type of tone or different type of atmosphere to it, then you should check out The Redeemer. Um, and yeah, I tried to get some information about any of the other cast members, but it seems like they did not really do that many roles after they had any famous role after this movie. And like the director, I couldn't find anything about the director, so yeah, that's it, I guess. But if you ever come across this and I mean, pick it up. I mean, it's not the greatest, not the worst, but I wouldn't pay extremely much money for it. But yeah, it's okay. So I'm actually ready to give this movie a six stars out of 10 because it still had some, basically because of the atmosphere and some interesting kills. I mean, overall the kills weren't the greatest, but some kills were entertaining. So yeah, and the body count is not really the highest either. But yeah, and another thing which I almost forgot to mention is that this movie sort of reminds me of Slaughter High in a way because it's like a reunion type of thing, and they go back to the old high school or whatever. And it reminded me a little bit of Slaughter High. So maybe Slaughter High took some inspiration from this movie. Who knows? But yeah, that's everything that I wanted to say about this movie, or everything that I have to say about it. And the acting is okay for a movie like this. I mean, when you're watching a movie like this, you don't really need to have like spectacular acting in it. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. And yeah, hope you enjoyed and didn't get bored, and hope to see you again as soon as possible. So see you next time. Bye bye.